All right. And 5, 4. This is what people do, right? They count down for podcasts. This is what they do. I think that's just what this has become, a podcast with the reaction at the end. Welcome to DaeseTime. DaeseTime-Episode, officially episode 1. And in the 2 that I released before, it could be because of the reaction video that was on the end, because just from what I saw, but from what I've seen. But the one without the music did better, so that's what we're gonna officially do, unless there's other ideas for me in the future. But we're gonna keep it just me, the voice, and then the reaction bit at the end. We'll see what we're gonna talk about. This is officially episode 1, though. Look at that. I'm gonna release this, I think, around the time, if not before, I release Personal. And if you're just finding this video, I make music. Obviously, it's called Daese Music. But Personal is the project that I've been working on for, the idea has been there for years, but I would say officially probably 2 or 3 months. And then, so I put that out. It's coming out November 30th at 7 a.m. Eastern time. But this will probably be out right before, if not around the same time as that. So after you listen to this, or if you want to go play it right now, I'd love for everybody to go check it out. You know, it's not like studio produced or anything. It's all made right here in my little hovel hut home, if that's what we want to call it. And I thought it turned out as well as it could have. That is going to be one of our conversation topics, so I guess I'll get right into it. There was one song that I had written that I had it. The idea for it was a lot more advanced than I thought. Like I thought when I was writing it, I had these specific sections of the song where I wanted to do certain effects, and I thought that I could do it here, but it turned out to be a little bit harder. So I still tried to get it how I imagined it, but that would be the 3rd song on the project. It was difficult, and it didn't turn out exactly how I would have liked it, but I think it still turned out well. I guess it's after Thanksgiving. For anyone who sees this, if you're American, how was your Thanksgiving? Was it good? Was it filled with turkey? Here's a funny opinion. I don't like turkey. Turkey is stupid. No, it's not stupid. But we should replace turkey on Thanksgiving with ham. Ham or chicken, man. Ham or chicken. Like, turkey's just the worst bird. I don't get it. I don't get why it's just not that good. I'm sure that's not like a hot take or anything, but that's an opinion. And that's mine. I would prefer ham over chicken or turkey, because ham, cooked the right way, is exquisite. It's beautiful. I just, Anyway, that's not weird at all. But I hope that everyone's Thanksgiving was well, everyone's Christmas goes well, or Hanukkah, or Happy Holidays and all that. It's not even close. I'm sure I'll make another one of these before then, but I'm feeling more excited. It's weird. Like, I haven't picked up too much. I'm not hitting like 1,000 views or anything, but it's weird. It's like this energy that, I'm doing something, and it's picking up definitely a lot more than when I started. I think I had over 20 songs out on YouTube before YouTube started getting views. Before, it was just, occasionally you'd get a song that did okay on SoundCloud, and but I don't post videos like, I don't post music videos because I don't have production value for anything like that, or any way to do that at the moment. And so I didn't ever expect YouTube to kind of pick up, at least for a while, and it's exceeding my expectations. I'll say that much. Especially the DaeseTime, the episode 0. It did worse. But the Days Time episode point 5 did a lot better, and just better than what I expected. I didn't expect it got a lot more watch time than I expected. And it's funny to actually look at these analytics and like have something there. It's interesting. As a small, very small, just I guess you could say just starting um, creator of putting the stuff out here. Um, it definitely it's interesting. It's nice to see. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to see what all this could turn into, and the plans are still plans. I talked about some future plans that I have. I did figure out that my computer is quite shit. So the stream thing will be delayed for a little while, but I don't think anyone's going to be too upset about that. Um, but it's you know the point is I'm feeling super excited about the future. I'm excited about the personal release. You know, it's so I have a song on YouTube. Um, well, I have a song that I put out in general, and it was written and supposed to be on the project. And that's the song I released called "Son of a Bitch," and it turned out actually to be my most viewed YouTube video. And when I saw that it was my most viewed, there were a couple theories that went through my head about why that was, but it just made me pumped to see if personal would have the same effect, because it's not exactly on the same. It's not as a majority of the project is more memory driven, not really as angry as that song was. Um, but it made me happy to see that this song could just it could peak. It could be my most viewed thing, and it was just unexpected. Not that it was blew up on the internet by their terms, but it was nice. It was nice to see, and it gave me hope for personal to hopefully hit the same way, if not better. So that's that. Oh man, I'm feeling a little funny. What's interesting is that I don't listen to a podcast um, that is just one person. I don't think those kind of things exist. I think that it's probably less entertaining and probably difficult. It's probably a lot more difficult for people to sit here and just talk to themselves without reacting to Reddit or a YouTube video or whatever the fuck that it is. I feel like it's interesting, you know? I don't see much singular person podcasts, probably because they don't usually exist. Which brings me to the reaction portion. Not that we're going to react to it now, but at the end, we have the reaction portion on Dae's Time. And today it's going to be the Joe Rogan and his episode. It's going to be a clip from his episode of Dr. Phil. Not the whole clip, obviously. Anything that we react to, I want everybody to go, watch the full thing themselves. But I've been watching a lot of Joe Rogan, going back, listening to the people that, I recognize, and then a couple of people that I don't. It's definitely the best podcast, in my opinion, Joe Rogan. I'm sure that's a lot of people's opinion. It's a great, it seems like a decent guy, and he's a good conversationalist, really keeps you going. So we'll be reacting to a clip from that later. But for now, let's get into. I do a lot of. I wouldn't call it research. With my interest expanding in terms of podcasts and information and such, I've been watching a lot of business people, like Elon Musk. Certain things about Bill Gates. That kind of thing. That kind of whatever. And something that came up a lot watching and studying, these interviews and such, it was this idea of a rich mindset. Like the mindset that, if you have the mindset that you're going to lose, then you're basically going to manifest that you're going to lose. And I kind of understood, like, I'm not successful whatsoever at this point, but I kind of got that, for a long time I was thinking I could never be successful, or I'm going to be successful one day, like I was putting this thing off. And it wasn't, it was when I pushed myself over the ledge, so to speak, to start putting the action into the thoughts, that I started to feel better. Like I started to actually feel like it was a complete thing and not just half of the action. And it made me, even if I'm not successful right now, I feel like I'm doing something, which is, infinitely better for my mental health as far as that's concerned, is to just feel like progress is being made. And like success, if success is the mindset, like I guess some of these people think who are successful, I think it's less about manifesting the success itself and more about, if you keep working towards it, you're going to find something. Maybe it's not even necessarily monetary money. Maybe it's just being emotionally grounded. Maybe it's just being mentally stable. Maybe become physically fit, if that's a part of what you are trying to do. I think you'll find a lot of things along the way that will make you just a better human overall, which, a big rising thing today is, mental illness and all that stuff, and all that stuff. it's, it's a problem, and I see it, and I'm sure that a lot of people my age see it. I'm 20. I'm 20 years old, and I saw it throughout middle school into high school. My high school experience was odd, but it was, it was there. It was clear. It was so obvious when you hear a lot of people talk, who grew up in, I guess, the 70s to the 90s, before people like me. It was a lot less. Maybe it was still there. Maybe it was still prevalent, but it wasn't so out there. It wasn't so manifested into physical action. Tons of people have to, or don't have to, but they are put on medication, and they are, they're taking their own lives and all these other things. And that's definitely increased. You look at the statistics on that. They say that suicides, I don't want to spit false knowledge, so I'm gonna say one. I think it's the top, but I'm gonna say one of the first leading causes of deaths now in America. And it's believable. It's not just believable, but I realistically see it with my own eyes. Like it's not just a statistic, like heart disease or car accidents. It's where I live. You don't see that kind of stuff. Like you hear about it, sure, and if you look for it, it's there, but it's not like in my surrounding thing. But depression, anxiety, and all these other things, it's like everywhere I look nowadays. So I could definitely see the increase in this kind of stuff. And I think that this rich mindset, a lot of people are losing that. Like, like I said, I'm just 20, so I'm just talking out of my ass here. But when I think about a lot of older people who grew up in a very different world, without social media, without these cell phones and all that shit, it was a lot more grounded life. Like you kind of knew that you had a direction to go in, from what I see. Now I didn't grow up then, but this is just my hypothesis. And it's just, I feel like today we're not keeping a mindset directly on what we want to do. People just see something and they say, or, you have the people who maybe watch somebody on YouTube who have such a better life than they do, and they live out that fantasy through them so that they don't, maybe that leads them to do maybe one of two things: to either become hopeless about their own life, that they'll never reach this, or maybe it leads them to just become lazy because they feel like they're already kind of getting these things through the screens that they watch these people on. And then there's also a third group who maybe are inspired by watching these people, and they aspire to get these things or a better life. And that's kind of the lane where I come from. It wasn't always for me there was a lot of steps to get to the mindset that I'm in now, where it's I feel like I have to do something to make a difference, because well that's going into certain territory. But I'll say this about the quote unquote rich mindset: it's helpful to have, even if you fail. Like, even if I fail, and if I do eventually have to give up, I'll at least have gained something from this, right? Like, that's a positive. At least I will have become so much of a better musical artist than I was. Maybe I'll have gained mental stability. Maybe I'll have gained a regular emotional life. Maybe it'll help me in a lot of more positive ways than I think it will. Even if I fail, I'm not gonna fail though. I'm gonna succeed, because I have to. So that's kind of, I just thought that was interesting. And then there was something else that came across throughout these things, and it was the school system / college system. And there was two points to this, and it was, I forget who it was. It was some Asian billionaire or millionaire or something. God damn it. All right, I'm not gonna know his name. It's all right. But he talked about how, it's kind of like, it's like a school system in America is so similar to, it's so similar to like a prison system, where you have such a set schedule, and you have to do this thing, you have to go to this class at this time, and it's I forget how exactly he compared it. I should have made that my reaction video today so I could remember, but I'm not. But I thought that was an interesting point as well, because I feel like the school system here it's ever changing, and it's very complicated, and it depends on, obviously, which grade level you're in, on what kind of school education we're talking about. It's like, I feel like, at least to the K to 12 area, at least we'll say that. It's definitely very similar to that. It's definitely this set in stone way of living, where you have to get up at, I guess depending on your school, I had to get up at like 6, and then you get up and you get ready and you go at 7, and then school starts at 7:40, and then you do this class and then this class and then this class and this lunch and whatever. And it felt like it was trying to do something. Yeah, like program a certain way. Oh my gosh, I'm getting into conspiracy theory territory. But it's, I don't think it's a positive effect for at least children. Maybe in high school it's okay, because in high school you're kind of, or maybe it's worse in high school, man. I'm no scientist. Why am I talking about this stuff? Why am I doing this? I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to talk about, so I sit here and I think out loud, and some people will listen to it. That is my hope. I just thought it was an interesting point, so maybe people can go out and look it up and kind of get their own opinion on that. And the second one, having to do with the school system slash college. It was not the prison system kind of example there, but it was the second mindset example. It was the employee mindset example that it kind of once you're it kind of forces you to think like an employee of this like you're thinking in hourly terms and you're just getting through the day to get through your job and you're getting that $8 an hour or whatever it is. Um, and I thought that was an interesting correlation to make as well. Like it's obvious that school has its positive effects, but it's clearly not being done well nowadays. It's not it's become such a congested thing. Like you hear about some teachers' classes, it's one teacher, 30 kids. There's no way. There's no way one teacher can teach 30 kids and expect them all to get the knowledge that they are there to get. Like there's just no way. No way. And my opinion on college in general is college is good if you have a plan. So I didn't go to college. I don't plan to go to college because what I want to do is not college needed. College is great if you go with like I want to learn more about medical stuff. I want to learn more about cultures. I want to become a nurse. I want to become an EMT. I don't think EMT needs any college. um, it's in my opinion, college is great if you have a certain field you want to learn more about. Maybe it's not even like what you want to do for a job. Maybe it's just something you want to go learn. And I think that college is great for that. Not the current college system, because college system right now, if I were to go to college, my life would be done. I would be over. I could not pay those loans. I would be so done. Um, but but I see college has its pluses, its minuses, just like everything else. Honestly, I feel like if we come to anything about this part of the discussion of schools and colleges and prison mindsets and whatever the hell I'm talking about, the rambling, it's a lot of things have positives and negatives. I think that in in my opinion, because opinions are bad to have, it's become this sort of that things are becoming so much more, maybe even not actually a negative, but everything's becoming so much more perceived as a negative of such like proportions to where it's adding to the everything that we're already having to deal with as humans now that we've never had to deal with before. Social media never existed before in human history. It's new, and we're not used to the side effects of it yet. And there's side effects to everything. There's side effects to good things and bad things. And we're not used to it yet. We're still learning, and we're not coping very well while we're learning. And that's where I feel like a lot of people who lived life before people like me, um, who don't learn, moderation, who don't learn, a certain different way of life, they're not getting that benefit of living a different kind of life. And it sucks. It sucks for people who are going to grow up and have all these things tossed on them, not just even the technological advances and the school systems and all this stuff that's getting so complicated that people just aren't trying to fix. But you got climate change happening, you got automation happening, all these things. You know what? This is a fucking music channel. Why? Why am I talking? Why am I doing this? I know why I'm doing this. Why am I asking myself? I'll have to show people what I look at one day, like my studio, my little thing here, because I feel like this thing has a term. I'm not sure what it is, but it's kind of like it's this Asian designed thing that you can fold out, but you can't see through it. Like it's not one of those changing things, but And that's kind of what I use to surround the mic and the computer, because the computer's in a corner, and so I'm kind of like boxed in by this thing. And then taped up, I have certain like pictures and stuff, and in the middle I have this drawing that I'm not going to say where I got it from, but it's this drawing of like two eyes. And sometimes I just kind of look at the eyes and I'm talking as if this eye has a mouth and that's a person. That's how I get through the talking to myself for 30 minutes or however long this turns out to be. This has no timer. I just go until I react, and then after I react, I just go until I stop talking or die of oxygen deprivation because I don't breathe. And but here's the thing. I think I'm getting more comfortable. I think I'm getting more into this mindset of I can do it. I don't even think it's the rich mindset that we were discussing. It's more this positive outlook of I actually can. Like, I actually can do this. Whenever I'm looking for an instrumental to use, or I'm just looking up new artists, trying to find something, there's so many artists on YouTube that, I can look at and I'll say, I have to improve. Maybe I don't have to improve in everything. Maybe I think, ooh, this guy flows better than I do, but I'm such a better writer than him. Or this guy has such a sick bar, but I make such a better, concept. Maybe it kind of looks like that. And I'll find people like that. And then I'll find people who I can just say, I'm better than you. And that's such a new feeling for me. Like, I've never truly thought until this past year, maybe two, I've never actually looked at anybody or heard anybody and thought, I am better than you. I really didn't for a long time. And I think that maybe I needed that because I would always give people props, and I'd prop them up above where I put myself at. And I think that was definitely holding me down for a point. Now I've become much more of a realistic thinker in terms of, things that I do actually, I should work on, or things I'm pretty damn good at, I think that, it definitely helps in the music department for me. And it's that I can do it attitude. You know what I'm saying, guys? This has been your motivational speaker Daese today. I can do it. You can do it. We can do it. I guarantee it. All right. I think that we've got through the motivation. Talked about a little bit of personal in the beginning. I think we should get to our clip, to our reaction period now. So, what we've got here, like I said earlier, was the Joe Rogan and Dr. Phil. It's Joe Rogan podcast. This is a little clip from it. It's not the full podcast, but I want people to go check out the full podcast. It's a super cool podcast. Joe Rogan's super dope. Yeah, kiss his ass some more, Dalton. But no, it's honestly my favorite podcast to listen to, and I think that he's pretty fair, which I think is something we desperately need nowadays, is fairness in terms of having a platform to go to. Even if you don't agree with the person, you can go to this platform and you can discuss things. So the clip itself is called Everyone Is Not Equal, and I think that pretty much states it, but they're talking about, I think in this part of the interview or the podcast, they were talking about how not everyone is equal, just like the title says. So let's get right into it. I'm going to play a little bit of it, pause it at some point.
I just don't understand. You cannot legislate that everything is going to be equal for everybody, because everybody's not equal. I'm sorry, they're not equal. They may be equal in terms of their value as a human being.
Yes.
But they're not equal in math skills. They're not equal in how fast they run. They're not equal in creativity. They're not equal. Everybody has their own value, but that doesn't mean their marketable skills in an open society, in an open market, are going to be the same.
No.
Yeah, what he said. I think that's the thing, right? I have a different kind of way of going about it, and this is one of my thoughts that maybe will make people not like me or not agree with me, but we can agree to disagree and still be friends or still get along. It's it's exactly that. It's that everyone is not equal. Like the only thing that will make, you know, me not the same as you is certain skills that I have that maybe you don't, or certain skills that you have that I don't. Like I can be this rapper, and I can say to you, we're not equal on terms of rapping. We get on this track together, you're gonna suck ass, and I'm gonna kick ass. Different things done with different asses. But you, maybe this other person, can say, well, I can set up a fucking a fucking fuck. uh, this other person could say, I could paint better than you. You know, like I can do a Bob Ross painting in 5 minutes flat, and you could probably paint a daisy that'll look like a thumb. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone is equal, and exactly like they said, that's not in terms of their fucking whatever he said, the humanity of it or whatever. Um, it's it's about skills. Some of us can do things better than others, and we just have to accept that. That has nothing to do with skin color, culture, race, creed, religion, whatever. We're all human, but some of us are different humans, and we just have to accept that. I'm gonna play a little bit more. I don't remember if there was anything else I wanted to talk about with this video, but I just thought it was super interesting. This is a thing to think about. Everybody's becoming so divisive on social media, on in person, like whatever. I Here we go. Hot take. I'm not a fan of Trump, but I have friends who are, and we are friends. Well, friends with a quotation mark. But I don't argue with them about it. I just kind of like, we can have a conversation, and it can get a little, rah rah rah. It can get a little heated, but I'm not gonna go out and put this dude on a pike and call myself Dracula. All right, it's a thing that we have to get over eventually, or else we're just gonna break each other apart. So
It's ridiculous. I had a joke on one of my specials, 2 specials ago, about there was a story about a woman who was guarding the White House. She was the lone guard at one of the doors of the White House, and some crazy man broke in and knocked her to the ground and just ran through the White House. And he was running around inside the White House for like 3 minutes before they finally, some off-duty.
I don't know where this story is going, but let's see where this story is going, because I forget.
Secret Service agent tackled this guy. I saw, like, what the fuck is going on? This guy's running through the White House. Tackled this guy. And the joke was that people think that a woman can do everything a man can do. I go, a woman can do everything a man can do. Is that true? And some woman was in the crowd of the Comedy Store was like, yes. I go, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Here's why it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, now I get where the story was going. And this is I'm not going to speak on terms of biologically, and I think Joe Rogan has said this too. Biologically, we are different. Men and women are different. I don't look at a woman less than I do a man, and I don't look at a man less than I do a woman. I look at your actions before I perceive that. But biologically, we are different, so we can do different things. I think we're going to stop with the video there. Hey, though, I hope we all enjoyed this day's time. This one was so much more energetic than the last two I did. And I'm looking forward to the future, guys. Please go check out Personal, the new project coming out November 30th, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please go check out all the songs. I've got some from way back in 2017 where it was mixed terribly and the gain is super loud on it because I didn't know what any of this meant back in the day. But you can go check that out too. And then I got stuff that, you can tell that I was getting better. There's so much stuff out there. But please, go check out the music. I appreciate it. Go check out anywhere. I think everywhere it's at Daese Music. There's nothing different. Thank you, and goodbye.